up, everybody? Duck here. Welcome to the stream. Get this music underway here. Okay. All right. How we doing? How's the sound? How's everything sounding? Maybe a little more ambient. Okay. All right. We'll get going. So Bitcoin up on the screen. Sounds good. Good as fuck. All right. Okay. Bitcoin up on the screen. Last time we streamed, we were basically, this kind of looked like we had almost hit the 786, right? But it was only about a 70% retracement. And we thought there was a chance that we'd get up here one more time and hit this 786, okay? We also talked about, by doing so, very likely we would paint some kind of bearish divergence here, okay? So if you look at the MACD, you're painting pretty clear bearish divergence on the MACD, where you had the initial high on price and the slightly higher high on price, lower levels of positive momentum, lower levels of relative strength. You hit the D pattern completion zone, 786, D short target entry area of a bearish cipher in yellow. Bearish cipher in yellow, because you have a 1414 on the C retracement, you were looking for a 786 on the D. You're beginning to sell off and following through right now with a bearish engulfing-esque candle in progress. Targets on the cipher would look like, you know, you'd be looking for your A and your C lows, okay? So that coincides with this deep retrace, 786, 886 type area of retracement. So let's clean up the 786, 886, A and C targets. So we're probably looking at some kind of 786, 886 retracement. You also have a 618 and the 50 that are up here, slightly higher, okay? So as two areas to potentially layer through, let's mark these levels. The level would start at basically 35.8. Remember we said 36 to 32, and you would finish in that 32.3 range, okay? So you have these two levels now to layer. I would like to get bids on the lower box, right? So maybe you're not as heavy in the higher box, but the thing is it doesn't always have to get all the way down, okay? So you might only fill in the higher box, and the heavier orders never got hit, and therefore your position ended up staying smaller. So, I mean, that being said, you can also layer this proportionally and not worry about splitting the order up higher or lower, right? As far as size goes, just, it's okay to layer evenly through here as well, okay? There's no real wrong way to do this. Just don't over leverage and don't over position, but however you want to kind of split your position up into that zone, you know, do what you gotta do. Ideally, this is kind of, you painted this initial A low here, right? And then you had the C and D of the blue harmonic, the bat, paint this same anchor point low. And then now you'd be looking for this, you know, right shoulder of an inverse head and shoulder-esque type structure, where you now also have a pretty decent neckline area that you have developed, okay? So this being said, we'd be looking to drop into this zone, okay? Drop into this zone and then come back out of it. And once we get back to this 40K level again, okay? Once we get back to this level again, ideally we should break it this next time and go up to the next level, okay? The next range up, okay? So yeah, Bitcoin right now, we sold, um, you know, the majority of our position was exited. Okay, so we're looking to reload, and yeah, across the board. ETH. Okay, we can take this off for now. Okay, so we're in this first resistance area. We're holding above it for now. But ideally, I mean, this could just be this fake out, right? Trap above it, and we're gonna fall back into it and back out of it. Okay, so watch out here on ETH. Again, you're gonna follow Bitcoin, so we had identified a target area between 2450 and 2200. Okay, so again, you'd be looking to layer into this zone and see if you could fill some bids, if you get a little bit of a sell-off here overnight. Okay, this is low time frame stuff. It's not gonna last forever. Okay, so you're gonna get your fill, and get your fill, and ideally this is just going to run again, so it's not the end of the world here, guys. Again, you had this initial low, slightly lower low, now this is just another higher low. Okay, so nothing to worry about, just another higher low on our trend to the upside now. Okay, so you have your atom and now your Eve double bottom. Okay, paint your neckline. Okay, neckline-esque structure, and that's it. It's just normal stuff. Okay, so eventually we're gonna get out of this neckline and we're gonna shoot up to the next area, and hopefully we can continue, right? So that's kind of what I'd be looking for here on ETH. Again, you're gonna follow Bitcoin, so if Bitcoin's looking to sell off, ETH is gonna have a pretty hard time by itself. Okay, more than likely you're just gonna now paint some kind of downsloping parallel channel. Let's see where we're lining up here on ETH. Something like this, maybe, downsloping parallel channel right into this zone. Where we went from the bottom up to the top. Now we'll come back down, test the range middle. Maybe we fail on the range middle, we get all the way to the bottom, right? But we hold it and we get back up and out of the channel. Okay, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. Maybe the channel also kind of paints itself more with more data and it doesn't end up being as dramatic or something like this, right? So but you get the general idea, right? You get the general idea of what's going on here. We're looking for a retrace into this golden retrace zone, which is between the swing low point on May 23rd to the swing high at 2900 on May 26th. And we are targeting between the 382 and the 618 on the fib retracement, golden retrace zone. 11% to the bottom of that zone, and yeah, that is Ethereum, Russian Ethereum. Okay, Litecoin, this is a larger structure. Okay, eventually we're gonna find our way up here. Okay, but it doesn't have to happen till way down the road. Okay, eventually. Okay, so let's just bring that up a time frame. Let's go back to this resistance, previous support that was once resistance, back regard as support. So ideally we stay in this zone. Okay, it'd be bad to lose that zone, right? We don't want to lose that, but if we wick through it and come right back up, that's okay, right? That's okay. You are painting a decent little structure here. It would have been really nice to hold, right? It'd be really nice to just hold here and go sideways long enough to reset. It's always possible to reset sideways. Okay, you don't have to reset with down, you can also reset with sideways. All right, But again, you're gonna follow Bitcoin here. You're not, Litecoin's not gonna hold its own here while Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatnot are selling off, okay? So on Litecoin here again, look at these. Some of these are coming from different time frames. Alright, it gets messy. Okay, so if you look at the momentum, you're bearishly diverging on the MACD. Okay, where your most recent price action was this recent high followed by another slightly higher high, okay? And at the same time, you had lower levels of positive momentum and about equal levels of relative strength here. Okay, so this again matching Litecoin and Bitcoin with some bearish divergence here. Okay, you were a little too deep on this low point to have had a harmonic here per se, but I would just be looking for some kind of. Okay, so we sell off again. Yeah, I mean, we might need to sell off for a while and create a double bottom in order to create some kind of bullish divergence here. So we sell off somewhere here, and then we put in this slightly lower low. And then this is where we can maybe see some bullish divergence on the oscillators, okay? We need to put in a lower low on price with higher levels of relative strength, higher levels of negative momentum, right? And paint some bearish, bullish divergence somewhere in this area and get back above this zone, back above 180. We don't want to stay below that for very long, okay? But yeah, this last 1 hour candle is pretty much just completely selling off. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens from here on Litecoin. Ideally, like we said though, it's gonna follow. It's gonna follow Bitcoin. Okay. So, but again, I don't think you're gonna lose the low lows, the 116 low. Okay, this is simply just a reset. Simply just a reset into this zone somewhere here. Okay, you're just gonna come into a basically a common golden retrace. Okay, so if we fib this from the low to the current swing high, okay, we're simply looking from a 382 to a 618. Okay, common retrace. Okay, so that makes sense. That's right what we were talking about. We fall into this area, fall below it just slightly, but then we end up back above it. Paint some other small type of inverse head and shoulders price action. We get above that, and then we rally, okay? So that's what we're looking for on Litecoin. Eventually, we want to see 269 to 292 area, okay? Still. Eyes on that. Eyes on that. AVAX. All of these, again, look really similar. Where we are painting this inverse head and shoulders right now, and it would have been nice to hold that. Right? It would be nice to hold that. But it could sell off right through it. End up not have been an inverse head and shoulders, just being a slightly higher low in the larger structure, right? In the larger structure of things, and then we rally up. Okay, so we'll just have to see here on AVAX. Again, all of these are going to follow Bitcoin. So ultimately, we just have our eyes on Bitcoin per usual, right? And if Bitcoin says that's it, then, that's it. Request for DOT. I would imagine that without even looking at DOT, it looks just like AVAX. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you could you could hide the ticker right now, and these all look the same. Okay, so you have this really clear overhead resistance. Okay, so really clear overhead resistance where you have this initial touch point 1. You could say this is touch point number 2, okay? and maybe we have to wait for touch point number 3 by selling off one more time, and then when we get up here we get it. Okay, um either way, critical area 2350. Okay, this 2350, no, what is this, 2450, this neckline overhead resistance, you must flip that level. Okay, you must flip that level in order to continue to the upside. You don't want to lose the low. Okay, so you don't want to lose 13, but you need to flip the neckline. Okay, if you want to see higher prices, if you can flip it, if you could flip 23 right here, oops, if you can flip this into support, you're going to go up to 35. Okay, you're going to go up to 35 next. You do have a square up right here at 28 first. That'll probably be this initial, right? Tag it, sell back off, and then go, right? Your break will be to the square up, your hook will be to the neckline, and your go will be to 35. Make sense? Whoops. Okay, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna follow Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin sells off here, you're gonna put in one more slightly higher low out here in space, and then you'll break it next. Okay, so if you get some kind of reload on dot, you would fib this, and you'd be looking for golden retrace levels. Okay, so something, oops, sorry, went full screen. Something like this on dot, where you would reload between $20.60 and $18. Okay, so between 18 and 20.50, somewhere in here, you would just be reloading, boink, and layering in this zone. Okay, and trying to get a refill on dot. Again, you're bearishly diverging 3x bearish divergence here on dot, with 3x bearish divergence on the RSI. Okay, I'll see you in the golden zone, bro. This is gonna nuke. It's just, on the way up, you get a quick rug, and then you continue your way up. All right, it happens. Just a quick flush. Got a flush, courtesy flush, right? Flush out the dead money, the over leveraged, the over positioned. Okay, Sol, request on Sol. I'm gonna again say that Sol looks just like dot, which looks just like everything else. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so bearish divergence on the MACD occurring. Okay, RSI tail end, bearish divergence on the RSI in play. Okay, so I would say fib from low to high, you'd be looking for a golden retrace 382 to 618 right here. Okay, so I would layer between 30 and 26. From 26 to 30, you can layer long on SOL. Again, not the end of the world here. Simply just a common retrace. Okay, and again, on these retraces, depending on how bullish the trend is, okay, you may only get the 382, right? You might just sell off, just get the very calm 382, and that's it, and no more, right? And that would still apply. Okay, but if it's a standard retrace, you're gonna find yourself all the way in there before coming back out. Okay. Whoa, doggy, huh? Let's look at it on like Bitfinex. Good. I just didn't want to see this chaos that this coin creates. It's too much for the soul. So decent structure. I mean, if you can hold. But again, I think your problem with some of these altcoins is they'll paint some really nice stuff, and then Bitcoin will just devastate everything. But again, I mean, it's not over, but most of these look the same on the oscillators, okay? Which is not good. Yeah, so I don't know. More likely sell off, give yourself a square up, and it wasn't even this pattern yet after all, okay? So if we sell off, we're going to fib from low to high, and we're going to look for a golden retrace between the 382, which look, from low to high, you already got into the 382 once, okay? You already got in there. So we just extend that level, okay? And yeah, that's what I would look for on dog, is to reload somewhere in here between 33 cents and 30 cents. Again, depending on how bullish this trend is going to delegate how deep of a retrace you get into this zone, okay? But I would layer something like this on doggy, okay? From 33 cents to 30 cents. Again, you don't want to lose these lows down here, okay? You don't want to be losing 25 cents, all right? But eventually, ideally, if you can get yourself a nice little reload here, okay? You could find yourself, you know, selling off into this area, finding your way back up out of it, break, hook, and go. And you could find yourself, you know, getting a decent little trade filled in this zone, okay? Three to one would afford you a stop down here, okay? So you could find yourself in a nice little position just by layering into some decent areas of high reward, low risk areas, right? So see what you can get on your fill on the dog, and yeah, we'll see what she gives. Doggy. Link probably the same. Very likely Mr. Trog. Let's check it out on Coinbase. Yeah, I mean, looks a little better than the rest, but not in any much of a different boat, okay? Pretty nice structure here, to be honest. Has been in development. But again, it doesn't mean necessarily that this was the structure after all. We still have to see, okay? So this one just, it does look better than all of the rest have, okay? So on Link, maybe all you get here is a sell-off to your back test, okay? And you hold here, and then you rally up to higher prices, okay? Eventually, it'd be nice to see yourself at $40 again, okay? Much more likely of a price scenario here. X, A, B, C, 786. Yep, 786. Okay, so that's what you're looking for on Link. I had some kind of downsloping trend line that you are regarding. So maybe you just regard this again, right? Over here. Go sideways for a while. End up just hanging out right here and then rallying. So we'll have to see. But yeah, ideally, I think your target remains $40 on Link. So Big old cipher. Big old bearish cipher. So cool. Yeah, I gotta grab a flight to Salt Lake City. Um, I will be over there for the next not very long. I'll actually be back by um about this time tomorrow evening. I should be back right here. So Duck's going airborne for a while. But I will see you guys in like 24 hours. Right here, right back where I left you. And we'll see how some of these shook out in the meantime. All right. So you guys know where to reload if we get a sell off. And I would say that it's again because of Bitcoin. It's looking probable, okay? You have this cipher. It's going to dump you right back into that 35.5 area. I hate to say it, but, it's just going to square up some of these levels, okay? However far it can get down there, there's some square ups down here. So we'll see which ones of those we can square up by filling these targets, okay? And then on to Valhalla, okay? Eventually, we're going to find ourselves back at 50K and hopefully even more so 55K, all right? But in the meantime, possible reload action over the next 24 hours. While Duck's gone, you might get a little bit of relief for the oscillators to reset, and then once I get back, we can send it again, okay? So we'll see what happens here. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your evening. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, pretty much everything looks the same. So by watching Bitcoin and ETH here, direction there is going to decide the direction everywhere else. And as far as your patterns go everywhere else, they're pretty much the same, okay? So we'll see how they play out over the next 24 hours. I'll be posting some static stuff in the Discord from the airport and whatnot, but nothing too crazy stream-wise until 24 hours from now when I'm back, all right? Catch you guys later in the Discord. Peace out.